Recently, I was contacted by the good folks at Symphonic Distribution, and they wanted me to take a look at a new program they call Starter. Now, I've had clients that have used Symphonic before to get their music to streaming, and I have seen them in the list of distributors out there. But this was my first chance to use their service to put one of my albums out, which was a new album I put out called World Party. This is a collection of songs from different world styles. I'll put a link down in the description if you want to go hear it. So how does Symphonic Distribution service match up to companies like CD Baby, DistroKid, Amuse, and other services I have used in the past? Well, we're going to talk about the good and maybe the bad in an in-depth look behind the curtain at Symphonic Distribution. Hey, I've got a free gift for you. It's called the Do Everything Checklist. It's very popular on our site. And if you are putting music out, especially to distribution, but also want to put stuff into BMI, into Content ID, into libraries, all these things are listed out as a checklist for you to put out every song you have. Maybe you're going to put it to Symphonic Distribution, or maybe there's a lot of places that you want to put your music. This is a great checklist just to keep with you every time you have a new song that you want to get out and make some music income. Hey, I follow this checklist every time that I put music out, so you may want to get it. It's absolutely free. Just find it at the link below at makemusicincome.com/checklist. So one of the newest things that Symphonic Distribution offers is something they call Starter. The Starter package allows you to get started just as easy as you would with DistroKid or CD Baby or Amuse. When you go to your prices, you'll see on the screen that they have two different packages. Now you might see here that they have something called the Partner Plan that you can apply to. And if we click there, you'll see that Symphonic is a bit selective for this program, and it is for established artists and labels. But let's look back at what we want to talk about today, and that is the Starter program, which is our real focus here and what the folks at Symphonic are really excited about. So you see on the Starter package, it says start your journey with Symphonic Starter, keep 100% of your royalties, and you get more tools and analytics than any other distributor for only $19.99 a year. I do agree with this. Once we get into this and I show you behind the scenes on this distributor, you're going to see that they offer a lot of things. They're not all free, and you do have to pay for them, and they might offer you discounts on those things, but a lot. So this is the Starter plan that they are talking about. It's $19.99 per year. 100% of the royalties come to you, similar to DistroKid. 200 plus providers, and I will tell you that there are a lot more providers than I have seen on a lot of these distributors. Obviously, the usual suspects: Spotify, TikTok, Apple Music, YouTube, but a lot of, and pretty much everybody else is there. They also have some unique places like Beatport, specialty partners, they call them. Here's one thing that they have that is a little bit better than some of the other places I've seen, and that is free royalty splits and payments to collaborators, featured artists, graphic designers, anybody you want to pay. You can split the income from any song or album with them, and those people won't have to pay anything to be part of this. You can do this at DistroKid, but DistroKid requires those partners to also pay $19.99 per year, which is kind of dumb. And most of my partners do not want to pay to maybe get something. So it's much better if they can join without having to pay anything. Like other places, they do have certain kinds of publishing and sound exchange royalty collections. I think those are really more third-party services that they set you up with. Monthly royalty payouts from all of the major DSPs, and you can enable access to your stats to your team if you want to. A lot of analytics, we'll look at that in a minute, and pre-save, marketing, mailer tools, all that kind of stuff, which is all available, although it's a little bit misleading because those aren't free necessarily. Some of those are third-party things that they can have you be part of. But this is a very good package and certainly compares well, and I'll let you decide if it compares better to some of the other services out there. All right, so now let's go from the point of being part of Symphonic, how you put an album up, and then look behind the curtain of all the services that they offer you. Okay, so here we are on the very first page that you see when you come into your account. You will see It'll say welcome. It'll let you have the main things that you want to see. And this page probably brings up one of the things that I am not as crazy about with this particular distributor. And this is a very easy thing to fix. And I'm sure that they are working on this, but it's a little bit dated looking of an interface. It's a little plain. It's a little old looking. It's not really very pretty with the black buttons and the big text. And now, all that said, if you don't care about a beautiful interface and you just want to get stuff done, this is the company for you. They really get stuff done well. There's a lot of detail to this distributor. It's not difficult, it's not overly detailed, but it is something that you're going to have to decide if you like. I love all the things that they offer here. It's very functional. You can also decide if you want to enroll in their Content ID. As you know, I am not a big fan of Content ID through your distributor. I think there are better companies that really focus on this. I may be wrong. They might just do a great job here at Symphonic, but my preference is to use something like Identify, which is a totally 100% focused company out to look for your Content ID matches on YouTube. Again, you may decide that you want to just do it all in one place. And so you earn 70% of the royalties from YouTube Content ID with them, which is basically what you earn with Identify, and you can apply for channel management through Symphonic. Okay, so back to creating a release. So you can start right here. It'll ask you if you have a UPC, and if you don't, you can say, I need a UPC. Pretty much all the distributors now are giving away a free UPC code with this. So if you don't have one, you can say, I need a UPC, and it will take you directly into the release details. This is where you get busy putting everything in. You upload your cover art, your release name, your primary artist. You can put 5+ artists. You can put different artists. All the normal stuff is here. This is pretty much the setup for either the single, or if it's more than one song, an EP or an album. This is where you set up the album pretty much, because you're setting up the label name, you're setting up the copyright C and copyright P lines. The release pricing tier is not as important a thing to me as iTunes and downloading continues to plummet against streaming, even against physical product, which is making a comeback. So after you're done with all of this, you will go to save. So this is what it looks like we are coming to the next window here. You can see all the details of your album, and then you can go in track by track and start editing each track. The initial song entry was a little slow for me at first, but it gets faster as you go, just like anything that you are doing, putting your songs in. The first one may take you a minute to edit all the fields and get it just the way you want it. You have to upload the audio. You have to either put in your ISRC or generate an IRC, which is kind of cool. You can decide on the clip start time. You put the song name in. If you have a different version of a song, you can put that there. You can add other artists and performers right here. You can add all the writers here and any other contributors that did anything else, and you can select their role. So you can put in who was the drummer, who was the guitar player. You can put the guitar technician in, for goodness sake. And it says here, supplying contributors improves your chances of being featured on Apple, Spotify, and other partners. And this way, other people who have accounts on Spotify, on Apple, they may be found under your album as well. Then for each song, you can put in the genre and subgenre again, and the price tier, and the recording year, if it's instrumental or a vocal, in the country of recording. So a lot to put in there, but again, once you get the hang of this, you can just move very quickly through this and get all the songs done, or release your single. What I was just showing you is under the distribute tag and the releases tag, and you can create more releases. You can look at the releases you have here. And right here with your releases, you will see that they have some post-release services. They have Promole. Symphonic and Promole have partners to provide you a robust, secure promotion platform that strives to get you results. So you can do promotions through there. They have Symphonic Marketing. Our expert in-house team provides our distribution clients with customized marketing services, advertising, and creative design. Streaming promotions. This is a playlist service. Feature FM and Hype Edit. These are basically link in bio type pages with different links that you can use with your Facebook and Instagram advertising. Found EE. Use Found EE's first in-class advertising platform to run ads on the world's most popular music websites, such as Billboard, Pitchfork, Rolling Stone, and more. SoundScan, they can hook you up with SoundScan, and Bodega, which is a full-service sync licensing agency and of Symphonic. Our team has a combined 30 plus years of experience in sync licensing, and so they can do that for you there. And all of these are separate pages, separate places they will take you to explain that service and the prices. So lots of other things to go, and all of these will open different windows, and they will explain every one of these services that they have. They also have rotor videos, which you can also find at places like CD Baby, a way to get your YouTube official artist channel hooked up, which most distributors have. Then we get into analytics. So let's go here to the analytics and look at what things are looking like here. Here you start to see some of your plays. You see Spotify, and Spotify is in green. And so those are some Spotify plays. And then you see the YouTube art tracks, which if you don't know what this is, these are when the distributors make something, they send it to YouTube Music, which is also called YouTube Topic Channels or art tracks. And eventually, like I talked about a minute ago, you can combine those into your official YouTube channel. But you can see some stats here and how those play. So any of these that you get played will show up in this graph here, and you have some different ways you can do that. Again, just a little bit. I mean, these are great stats and good to see. I think it still looks a little old as an interface to me, but I think it's pretty good that you can see all of these things. And you can see your tracks down here, how many streams you have, all that kind of stuff. Show your release, your total streams, and if you got on a playlist, and then your territories where it's being played. Apparently, I'm big in Venezuela. So that's pretty cool that you can see that. I think this is where they're going to have you, is your YouTube analytics. And this is only if you're signed up in their Content ID platform. So they have TikTok analytics. So a lot of TikTok stats. If you're a TikTok person, you want your music used on TikTok, then this could be for you. And then you can track your download analytics, and it can show you where your stuff has been downloaded in the last, up to the last 90 days, or a custom range, which is really nice and actually better than some of the other ways that you can look at this. This is really good. This is really strong that you can look at all the analytics of your stuff. I think that's even a little bit better than having to use all the different tools like Spotify for Artists, Apple for Artists, all that kind of stuff. I like the fact that I can come here and look at all the analytics. Pretty cool. And then once you're done looking at all your analytics, you can check out your royalties, and they have a royalties summary page, which I have 0 since I just put this out. You can request a payment. So getting back to my thoughts about the way the interface looks, it is a little pedestrian. It is a little bit black and white, but hey, don't you want your information in black and white for the most part? So you have to reach $50 threshold or your royalties will be carried over to the next payment. So that's fine. Some people would prefer to have a lower threshold of $20, but I think that's okay as far as I'm concerned. You can also look at your artist statements. You can look at the Splitshare and see who owns what. Of course, if you have 0, you won't be splitting anything. You can see here where you're, who you're sharing stuff with. These are some other names I put in mine, but you can also go to the tracks and see it by track. You can see all the track splits. And down here, it will load up all the tracks and have the splits there as well. So you have recoupments, which allow you to control how earnings are paid out to your payees. So you can decide how and when to pay stuff out to people. So this is a really strong platform if you're going to be kind of trying to split things with other people. So certainly something that you might want to work with if your focus is strong splits that don't cost your partners anything on a yearly basis or monthly basis. So you can just split it with them and they can get paid as money is collected. And you can have complete control of how you want to recoup and split that. Now, we also have a full rights section over here, and there is a lot here. I'm not going to go into every one of these because every one of these opens up another window, but we have YouTube channel management. This is your content ID type stuff here. Then you have your YouTube allow list. This means you can whitelist channels and things like that. Manual claim, where you can claim that someone is using your music, and so they go over that kind of stuff. Something called YouTube composition. Collect all your royalties from YouTube, and Symphonic will register the composition directly with YouTube. So again, this looks like more royalties. There's more to royalty than just a video. There are different royalties that can be collected. We're here. So they're collecting way more royalties than the average bear here. They have something called SoundCloud Allow List and monetization, SoundCloud Go, TikTok manual claim, publishing administration, digital performance, which is Sound Exchange, and that is a way they will hook you up with Sound Exchange. If you are not part of that, they will collect Sound Exchange. And this is mainly Pandora, but also should you ever get on SiriusXM, these are the main two places that the Sound Exchange collects from. They will hook you up with SoundScan. They will hook you up and copyright your music through a company called CoSend, which I've seen quite a bit around. So if you want to get your stuff copyrighted, they can do that. You can also go directly to copyright.org as well, but this is a way that they help you do this and copyright, and especially if you're copywriting things that are going to have splits. Cover song licensing. This takes you to their relationship and partnership with Easy Song Licensing. I have personally used Easy Song Licensing many times, and so that's something strong that you may want to use as well. Contracts and legal will take you to some place that they use called Music Law Contracts. They are partners with this company, and this company basically lets you purchase different kinds of contracts, and I've seen this company around before. Finally, you can find out about copyrights and takedowns and learn about the DMCA process, which is basically a way that you can fight copyright infringement. I tell you, there is a lot, and this is a very deep distributor. As I just continue to look through here, I find more and more all the time that they offer so much stuff, third-party playlisting. I mean, they offer a lot of services, but I have to say that the majority of them are pay services, which is fine. They are just giving you tons and tons of possibilities for your music and for your releases. The one thing that doesn't cost anything is the Splitshare, and I would heavily recommend this entire company and its starter package because of the Splitshare thing alone, I think. I mean, that is a big deal that you can have the Splitshare. So many that I've run into. CD Baby, as far as I know, doesn't even offer any kind of splits. DistroKid offers splits, but every person who is part of the split has to have a DistroKid account. And there is no free DistroKid account, so they have to pay to have a DistroKid account, at least in my experience. And I do a lot of distribution with DistroKid. You can apply for physical distribution to retail outlets through Symphonic. You must already be a digital distribution client and complete a separate application for physical distribution, as physical distribution is not included in their standard agreement, and they are offered to select distribution clients through a partnership with a company called Amped. So like most services here on Symphonic, they have a partnership with just about everybody that you would want to use after your release is out. All right, so let's get to the upsides of Symphonic distribution. So I do really like the fact that it is so in-depth. It was a great process. I put my album up, as you saw. I put all of the songs up, and it did take a little bit at the beginning, but once I got going, it was a pretty quick and easy process to put the album up. I really appreciate that they do the split share thing with no fees for the partners. That is a big deal, that they can have an account on Symphonic and put their information in and get paid without having to pay something. Because one of the problems with a service that makes people who aren't putting the album out pay is that those people just may not decide they want to pay that money, and then they won't get the split share, and then there's going to be problems. They'll be crying. I really love their analytics, the way they show all the information of where your stuff is being streamed, and you can set the dates for what you want to see a week or a month or whatever. I think that is really good. All right, so let's talk now about the downsides. I talked about the interface, and you know what? It's fine. As I look at it here, it just seems a little, I use the word pedestrian, and maybe I didn't mean that. Maybe I meant just it's pretty simplistic and black and white, and you may like that. Maybe that's the kind of screen you like. I mean, if we go to the releases, you may like this kind of setup. You may think this is fine with you and it just is easy and simple, but it's certainly not the sexiest interface I've ever seen before. But It totally gets the job done. The site is a little slow and takes a while. It opens up lots of windows, but it's providing a lot. And sometimes when you're providing a lot, that's what it takes is it does slow the system down a little bit. But I really am very happy with this despite the downside. So let's get to the bottom line on Symphonic Distribution and especially their starter package. And I have to say that I think it's a winner. I think if you are putting a release out, you might want to try Symphonic. So much that you can do with this. I think there are other nice distributors out there. I would say its biggest competition is going to be DistroKid, mainly because DistroKid also offers a lot of things. And I will say that they probably offer more free things, but they probably don't offer as many things and as many relationships with so many companies that you can work with. So I would probably give the nod to Symphonic over DistroKid for the amount of things they offer. And certainly on the Splitshare thing, Symphonic wins that battle really well. I don't know if there are other people doing the Splitshare thing as well as Symphonic seems to be doing it, but I have to say that I'm very impressed by what it did. They got the album up right on time, right when they said they would. It all looks and sounds good. It was a good process, and I was very happy with using this starter package, and I appreciate Symphonic getting in touch with me about this and letting me share the starter package with the world. I'll put a link down below to Symphonic Distribution, of course, and where you can go and look at the starter package and see if it's right for your next release. I hope this has been helpful to you. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.